Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Beyond the Week podcast. This one is going to be centered around the idea of how I got to where I am as a cinematographer and how I got the opportunities that I've gotten. And basically, let's talk straight. How did you become the cinematographer for CT Fletcher? That seems to be the most important thing that I've done with video projects and the one that people are the most interested in. So basically, we're going to cover how I got into the job that I have with CT Fletcher and how it is to work with the man behind the beast. I love CT. I'm also a little bit sick, so please forgive my voice. I apologize. And this is one of the beginning podcasts that we are doing. So we're still ironing out some things, still figuring out some things, but hopefully you can enjoy it. Anyways, I got into cinematography. I've been recording videos since I was a child. I've been recording videos since there was tapes, literal tapes that you actually recorded onto the tape and then fed that tape into the computer. And then from there, it would take that analog tape and turn it into a digital file. So I've been making videos for a very, very long time. I wasn't planning on being a cinematographer. I just enjoyed the idea of a medium, video, that represents exactly what was happening in the situation in terms of visually seeing exactly what it looked like, and then also audio. It gives you the exact sound and gives you the exact words, and it gives you the exact mood and feel, everything. It covers literally it covers as many senses as you possibly can with a medium. I mean, obviously there's no touch to it, there's no smell to it, but other than that, though, if you did still photography, you'd be taking one picture. So you're only able to, whatever idea you're trying to convey is just that one photo. So you have to make it so pivotally important and fit so much into it. Whereas with video, you can really tell a story. You can really get in there. You can start, give context. You can get people into the story. You can draw them in, get them deeply engaged. You can make people sad or happy, and you can change the music behind it. You can't change the music behind a photo, but you can change the scoring, the music behind a video, cause a different mood. If you've ever seen a lot of the videos that I've done that are telling stories, like, for example, mine with The First Time Acne Made Me Cry, or with John's, which was the loose skin video. I forget the name of it exactly. But essentially, if you listen, you'll hear a soundtrack, a really subtle soundtrack. And I know it's kind of cheesy, it's kind of corny, it kind of hurts to see a little bit, especially if you can point it out. You're going to be like, wow, this is kind of cheesy. But I know that having a mood built from a soundtrack, from a song, can cause you to have the pretext of whatever it is that you're doing. So if you're listening to me talking about how bad my acne was and you're hearing a sad song, you're going to feel kind of sad. You're going to be like, I get it, man. This story is resonating a lot better with me because it's matching. All right, anyways, this is a little bit of a tangent. Point being, I love video. I just think it's a great medium. Now, when I first thought about becoming a cinematographer, it was a couple years after YouTube and after I had my really professional cameras, after I had started doing 2 camera shoots. So I would record, whatever project it was with 2 cameras and then splice them together, which sounds easy and also hard. And it's both. It's very hard in the beginning and you'll just mess it up so many times. If you sync one thing wrong, then for the rest of the project, you'll be doing things wrong. And then at one point you'll look and be like, wait, how do I fix this? And it becomes a huge troubleshooting thing. But then at a certain point, you become proficient at what you're doing, and it actually becomes very easy to do 2 cameras. Like, for example, we just shot an 1.5-hour project with CT Fletcher and Hearn doing, a whole bunch of lists. Like, I think it was like 5 or 6 exercises, and there's like 6 dudes doing it. So it's like an 1.5 or 2 hours of straight footage. By the way, we shoot straight when we shoot with 2 cameras, especially for CT. Neither of us clip our camera, so we don't ever click record and stop the filming and then click record again and restart the filming. Because if you do that, then one camera will have, 16 different clips, and then the other camera will have 9 different clips. And can you imagine the hassle it would be to sync those bad bitches up? It would be the worst thing in the world. So we just shoot straight through. So we have an 1.5 hours of footage on both cameras. So that's 3 hours of footage. It's a huge file. It's a little daunting at first, but then once you get to a certain point of proficiency with it, it becomes a lot easier, and it becomes something that you're like, wow, I can do this. Like, shoot, we could throw in a 3rd camera, we could bring a microphone like this, and I could also integrate that, because at a certain point your proficiency gets better. Anyways, as I got more proficient with my camera use and my production and my editing, I started to pursue cinematography. So I did a lot of random work. One of the things I liked doing a lot was music videos. So I did music videos for my best friend, Kurt Owen. You can actually see one of them, I believe, on his channel, Kurt Owen Music. And then I also did, after that, music videos for a rapper. His name was Chucky Slick. Actually, some of you guys recognize who that is. I talked about him in one of my videos or something, on Instagram or something. And somebody was like, whoa, dude, you were the guy who made that Chucky Slick video? And I was like, what? People have heard of Chucky Slick who were in my realm of fitness, YouTube, and content? I thought it was pretty cool. But anyways, I did a bunch of stuff randomly just to get experience in there, just to like understand what I was doing and get experience. So I did a bunch of those music video projects. I did a bunch of like side projects. I've done like 3 or 4 minute shoots, basically like a Gymshark, My Visionary type thing. And then when I was, the first expo that I ever went to when I was 19 or something, I don't know. Wait, 20? I don't know. The first expo that I went to was the Olympia 2014, I believe. And before the Olympia, there was an event one day prior that I-Satori was holding. And I-Satori basically had like CT Fletcher, Nick Wright, and Big J on the team. So the idea was if you pay $40, you can come to this workout and, get to meet the dudes a day before the expo, before anybody else does, with no lines and stuff. You get to work out with them, get to hear all their informational tips and stuff. So I knew that I needed to get my foot in the door with some of the YouTubers. So I bought the ticket and I went to that. It was called, I don't remember. It was essentially just a big lifting session where you like went around from each station and each person would say like, here are my tips on benching, blah, 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 blah. And then you watch them bench and then you bench a couple times. And then there's a competition at the end of it. Basically, what I did was I recorded the entire thing, and I knew that I wanted to have the first videos up for any of the expos I went to from that point on, because I know people look at that stuff immediately as soon as it goes up. They're interested. They want to see what's going on with the expo because they can't go. Maybe they're in Michigan and we're at the LA Fit Expo or something like that, or Vegas, and they just can't go, so they want to see it. But I also knew that people will only watch the first one, or the first two or something like that. So they'll watch whoever has it up first, and then after that, they've pretty much seen what's going on at the expo. They don't want to watch 5. They don't want to watch 20. There's probably like 20 videos you could watch on the same day after an expo of the same blue carpets or the same red carpets, or the same doors, or the same expo booth, same people, blah 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 blah. Point being, I wanted to get my video up very soon. So I went home from that Metroflex event and, well, I actually didn't go home. I went to my friend Tracy's house. I edited on his computer, which was super nice of him. Really jankily. It was a laptop, just like got it done. Did the best that I could in the time that I had. It took me till about 2:30 a.m. in the morning to get the video edited. Got it up by like 3:30. Had to get up at like 6:30 to go to the expo. See what I'm saying? I just grinded it out, but I knew that I wanted to get it up first. I wanted content out first so people could see my stuff first and not lose any of those views from people already seeing the stuff. Point being, again, I got the video up and people responded well. They really liked it, but it was just another video on my channel at the time, especially since I was getting maybe like 500 to 1,000 views at the time. So it wasn't huge. I didn't know anybody had really taken notice that I had done that video, and it was just a big mashup. It's just like a cool workout and like music and like, here's Chris Jones doing his thing. Here's Big J doing his thing. About 9 months later, six to 9 months later, I get an email from I-Satori. I think it was Bill at the time, actually, which is kind of funny. I miss that guy. I got an email and it said, hey, yo, we saw your video that you made for the I-Satori event meetup, and we thought it was great. We would love to work with you in the future doing similar things, covering similar events, and covering CT Fletcher, who is our main athlete at the moment, our main branded marketing athlete. And this was essentially towards the beginning of CT Fletcher working with I-Satori, maybe like 6 months or so after they started working together. And I started talking to them, and they were also interested in making me an athlete. So I did that whole thing. I signed up with them. We signed a contract for 2 years, I believe, with me me being their cinematographer was the main part of that contract, and then like maybe 20% of the contract was me advertising their clothes or their supplements and using them in my videos and selling them, having a commission code and all that stuff. So it's kind of like a cinematographer athlete deal. So you can kind of credit my cinematography project there, or getting signed as a cinematographer, getting hired as a cinematographer for I-Satori, to also having a social media presence. So it's not 100% just something that someone could have done without that same channel that I had to, get my foot in the door. So I started filming with CT Fletcher and I-Satori. They would essentially pay me a monthly stipend, and I don't even know why I wouldn't talk about it right now. I think it's completely fine. They gave me $600 a month, and this was to pay me for being an athlete, to pay me for being a cinematographer, and to also cover flight expenses. So it wasn't that I was making $7,200 a year being a cinematographer. It was, whatever else I needed to take out of that stipend to travel. So every time we traveled, I would fly myself, LP, and get in a hotel. So that is, $400 or $500 each ticket, plus $400 or $500 for the hotel. It's usually like $1,200 to $1,600 for each trip. And I think we would have to do 2 a year, because we can drive to the LA Fit Expo, we can drive to Olympia, we cannot drive to what's that one? Arnold. And then we also did a few extra events outside of Expos. For example, we went to Denver, Colorado to shoot a workout at Armbrust Gym with CT Fletcher and a couple of like big famous dudes in Big J. So just to give you an idea, the reason I told you that budget, the money that they paid me, was just to give you an idea of how little you actually can make as a cinematographer. Maybe that's a lot for some people, but the amount of work that goes into it is insane, man. Basically, I was doing a video about, let's say about once every 2 months or so for CT and I-Satori. And what would happen is, if say the LA Fit Expo is coming up, they'd hit me up and say, hey, we're going to have this booth. It's going to be here. We're going to be there Friday, Saturday. CT's going to come in. He's going to meet people from 12 to 3. And then Sunday we have a workout. So I would go to the expo. I would meet people that were trying to meet me as a YouTuber. They wanted to see humorous fitness or whatever. So that was so sick, right? And I'm like shaking their hands. But at the same time, as meeting people and talking to people and getting to know my people who are watching me, I would have to run over and film CT, get some B-roll, shoot a couple scenes of him being talked to, shaking in people's hands, get some audio clips of him yelling, yo, we're at the Arnold 2015, motherfucker. Where's your ass at, you bon eating motherfucker? So, I'd have to mix the two of them. And it was actually decently hard, to be honest. It was not the easiest to juggle those two things, because you want to give your full attention and time to the people who are coming and paying, take money for tickets to come see you, right? But also I have a job, and it's like under contract, so I have to produce. So those are probably the hardest shoots that I did with CT and I-Satori, was those expo shoots, because I would have to double up on it. And then when I got home, not only would I have to double up on catching up on the last 4 days of, whatever I've missed, like coaching or taking care of this design that's going to come out or whatever it is, I would also have to update I'd have to like catch up on editing my video of the expo, my journey and experience, get that up ASAP, maybe the next day. And then also by the next 3 days after I landed, I needed to have CT's video done for CT's channel or for I-Satori's. So I'd be like cranking mine out, cranking his out, and trying to get it all done so fast. And I'm okay with that. Working and grinding is something that I do pretty well. I think I'm pretty proficient at working really, really hard, but it takes a little bit of, it takes a lot of gusto. It takes a lot of elbow grease out of you, and it's decently hard, man. It's not an easy job to be a cinematographer and also do other things, especially when there's timelines and deadlines, and it's just a lot. Anyways, though, so then I-Satori and I worked together for about 1.5 years, and I'm shooting CT's videos, basically covering every event that he goes to, and then also doing additional stuff since he is in Long Beach and I'm in San Diego, so I can drive to him about 2.5 hours. I-Satori is in Denver, so they cannot ever go to see CT unless they fly in. So every once in a while they'd say, hey, we have, CT and whoever it was. He did so many. Man, it's crazy. So many. So one time it was like CT and Mike Rashid, and I think it was like the Hulk or whatever, that guy, the Hercules, whatever the big guy is. So we'd go up there and we'd film, and sometimes Steven, the CEO, would come down and he would, kind of oversee what we're doing, give us ideas, come on, we work together back and forth on like, hey, this is what we should shoot, this is how we should do it. When you become a cinematographer, when you start working cinematography, you're going to have a lot of people who have no experience in cinematography or shooting videos or anything like that, giving you a ton of advice, pointers, tips, ideas. One of the hardest things is too, like when you're delivering a video for a certain person or a certain company, you want that person to be happy. That's the reason. You want Steven to be happy. If he's a CEO and you're making video for Steven, you want Steven to be happy. So you have to also, though, be nice to the people and listen to the people around, even though they don't have the final say in it. So it's like you have to it's weird. You're not only a cinematographer, you're kind of like an idea board and like a creative genius or something like that. Anyways, moving on with the story. We shot with I-Satori for the longest time, and then I went vegan about 12 months ago, maybe a little bit yet less. Recently, though, I've been making a lot of changes in terms of like who I'm going to work with in the future. I'm really trying to figure out my sponsorship deals and trying to figure out like how I can make more of a living off this, because I haven't made a huge amount of money with my YouTube channel, which is fine. But I'm just trying to figure out stuff, and I'm trying to figure out stuff that works with me ethically and just lines up with who I am and what my channel is about. So it's like, I-Satori, I love them to death. Their flavors of their stuff is phenomenal. Probably the best I've ever had in the supplement industry. But they started adding BioGrow to everything. And BioGrow is essentially just milk. It's like colostrum. So it's like a pregnant cow's milk that's like turned into a powder. And it's supposed to, theoretically help you like put on all the size and do all this crazy stuff with your body. But they put it in everything. They made it like Amino Grow and like, I can't remember the other names of their product, like Pre-Grow and stuff like that. So Grow was in everything. So basically what I'm saying is all the products that they had, I couldn't use anymore because just about everything was not vegan safe, or friendly or whatever. I think only their aminos were left that was really good. Maybe the pre-workout, I'm not really entirely sure. Not the Pre-Grow, the Isomifis, not really entirely sure. But basically I contacted them and I said, hey, I feel bad. I haven't been able to push products. I haven't been able to sell products. It's been a really difficult thing for me. And it's just not, I don't feel like I'm fitting in here as an athlete. I would like to continue working as a cinematographer for you because I love to death doing what I'm doing. I love producing these I-Satori projects. And I also love working with CT Fletcher because he's the man, you know what I mean? And it's a great thing for my career, my portfolio. It's also great for my experience. Every time I do another CT video, I feel like I become more proficient, and it's honestly like it's like doing a research paper. It's like big thing. It takes a lot of effort, but by the time you're done with it, you're like, damn, all right, that came out nice. And then you feel confident about what you're doing or whatever you tried that video. You're like, oh, I tried using lots of black screen cadence and matching it with the beat and stuff, and then it looked right, and then you're like, okay, that's another weapon under my arsenal. So I contacted them and basically said, I don't think I can use your supplements anymore. I'd love to work as a cinematographer with you still. And then they said, hey, okay, that totally makes sense. If you really are vegan and you really are doing this whole vegan thing, we can completely understand that and we can respect that, which was cool. But we can't work together with you anymore, especially with the continued terms. So basically we X'd out, we nilled the contract, and the contract does not exist anymore. Instead of paying me monthly, now I-Satori, if they do want to use me as their cinematographer, they do want to continue working with me, they'll just email me or text me. They'll contact me a couple months before whatever the project is, and they'll say, hey, CT is going to be in Venice Beach with Mike Rashid and Nick Wright and I don't know, one of those weird girls that we've hired. And we need it filmed. You know what I mean? We need the whole thing covered. So then from there, we'll work on a project to project basis. So now I-Satori, that's where we are now. Is I-Satori pays me project per project basis, without any supplements, none of that. So basically not sponsored by them anymore. But the cool thing is while we're debating this, while we're figuring this out, I'm really like trying to figure out like a way that I can continue filming with them, even though I can't do the supplements and stuff. I'm really, really not trying to lose the CT plug because it's just a great it's a great thing. I really enjoy it. It's grandiose. It really reverberates. Like, the videos that I put time into are going to get out to people. So not only am I getting paid, it's my job, but also it's getting my name out there as a cinematographer. It's getting my name out there just in general for my YouTube channel, because I'll put in the beginning all his videos produced by Brian Turner. So if you search that in, you're going to find my channel. Helps build me a little bit social media wise. It's just something I really enjoy, and it's a project I'd rather do than something else. So I'd rather shoot CT blasting out heavy weights with whoever the featured guest is, Dana Lynn Bailey or something, instead of filming a wedding or like a music video that I don't even care about. Like, I don't like the song. So then CT's camp actually, okay. So last time we were in Arnold, that's how this really happened. Last time we were in the Arnold, it was the last project that we did for I-Satori. Basically, we were filming. We didn't get enough time. We kept asking for them to set aside a time that we could go to his hotel and do an interview with him. It just didn't happen. So we hopped into the car with him on the way to his hotel before he went and flew back. So we hopped in the car with him. We had 2 cameras on him. We shot him, blah, 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 blah. Had him say all this cool stuff, basically tell his favorite stories, his favorite fan stories from the expo and from general, that like people that he's met. Then we get out of the car. It was funny. Like, we're the cinematographers, but we're really like, actually, like, CT's like, where am I going? And we're like, you're going to the hotel. You're going to get your stuff. And then we will make sure this guy stays here so he can get to the airplane. Did no one tell you who's going to fly, like who's going to drive you and stuff? Like, do you not have any clue on this? So we really had to like mitigate and help CT get set up and ready to go to the hotel and then to the airport stuff. Anyways, we did it all. We sat there with the taxi guy while CT got his stuff. He heads off to the airport, and then his daughter comes out and she says, "Thank you so much." She gives us both a hug. I appreciate it so much. You guys taking care, and you guys are always, really, really nice and super easy to work with. And it's just like the videos come out really well. We really like them. She said, "I'd really like to speak to you when you have a little bit more time about working projects with us directly, in addition to whatever you're doing with I-Satori." They don't know the deal or anything there. So she said, here's my number. I gave her my number. We got in contact a few days later, and then she said, yeah, we would love to have you be our go-to cinematographer. We'd love to be able to contact you and have you come up with us, since you're like relatively close to Long Beach, and basically call upon you whenever we need a video. Later, that I found out after the first project that we did at Long Beach with CT directly, just literally being hired by CT in his Iron Addicts camp, I found out that they just love the videos that we produce, the videos that I edit and produce, and that me and LP film. And I don't know, it meant a lot to me. I found out basically that I'm their favorite cinematographer. She says, anytime we have a project, you're our go-to guy. We always want to use you first. We always think of you first. So, like, now that we have your number and stuff, we're going to be contacting you a lot more often. We could be doing 2 to 4 videos a month. And every time, this is a line that I thought was so cool that she said to me. She said, every time we get a video in from any of our other videographers, we have to send them back a list of edits and modifications that we want done to the video. Whether it's like, we want the title frame changed, we want the music in the beginning changed, we want the fade to be different, we want the color schemes to be different, blah, 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 blah. There's so many different things you could do. She said, you are the only person we work with that you send the video in to us, and then that's it. The video's done. I think that is so rad. Like, how cool is that? They just love the videos. Anyways, I know this is getting a little rambly, so I'll kind of wrap it up here. But basically, how it is to work with CT Fletcher is awesome, man. Because you see his videos, and if you are familiar with CT Fletcher, then you know what I'm talking about. But if you're not, then he's a large, booming man. He's a strong, huge armed, like 25-inch arms, like huge dude who lifts, and he used to be a world record holder for like all sorts of different stuff, bench press and curling and stuff. And so now basically what his shtick is that he screams and yells motivational stuff and trains people. He's CT the trainer. So he's like this big, scary, and awesome guy who's also helping other people get like good workouts in and stuff. Sorry if you can hear a little bleed through. I think Obese to Beast is in the other room listening to a video, so I can kind of hear it in the microphone. But yeah, he gives off this impression of being like this big, scary, amazing, like, oh, guy. And people are always asking, like, what's it like to work with CT Fletcher? Because when I see his videos, man, he is intense. His teeth are like, coming out of his face. And his face is contorted and the spit coming out of his face. And his eyes are bleeding and stuff. But you know what's funny is CT is not what you would think off camera, man. He is the nicest, just warmest, welcomingest, amazing soul that you could ever run upon. I really love CT. When I first worked with him, I was a little bit nervous. Obviously he's like this ultra famous guy who's done so many cool things. I mean, I remember watching him before I did any YouTubing, really, like when I was starting, essentially. He had those like crazy viral videos and I was like, this world's strongest bodybuilder, blah, blah, blah. It's so cool. I can't imagine making videos like this, like, because they were just so good. And Strength Project guy was just so good at it. Marashi was so good at editing. So now it's just crazy to be filming him. So yeah, in the beginning I was super nervous to talk to him and stuff. But now the way he'll approach you is a very personal way. And he could totally be a dick because he has 1 million followers. He has 1 million subscribers, man. He gets a minimum of 100,000 views per video, but usually up to 150 to 200 for an average, and then 250 to 500 for a good video, and then obviously 1 million for an amazing video. It's a lot of pressure, I don't want my video to come out bad. There's a lot of people that are going to watch it. There's going to be a lot of critiques coming. I don't want CT to think it's dumb. I don't want to feel like an idiot in front of him. I don't want him to think that I'm a dumbass. But he's such a personable guy. He always grabs your shoulder. This is something, it's like a trademark CT move. He'll grab your shoulder while he's talking to you to make sure that like, it's a psychological thing. I've always thought and told people this, that touch is an extremely important thing. It will I have my wristband here from the hospital, so I haven't cut it off if you're looking at the video, not just listening to this. I think touch is a huge thing that connects people very well, because if you're comfortable being touched by someone because they've touched you many times, they touch your arm as they're talking to you, they grab your hand, blah, 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 you get more comfortable with their touch. And then because you're more comfortable with the physical touch of them, you also become more comfortable with them as a person. And I've always told people that it's a very important thing, especially for girls. If you ever see a guy touching you a lot, like if you ever realize a guy's always touching your shoulder when he's talking to you, always touching your arm, blah, 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 he is hitting on you. It's flirting, and he may not even realize that he's doing it, but psychologically he's preparing you essentially for being comfortable with him. I digress. Basically, what I'm trying to say is CT is an extremely personable guy, and he's very nice. He'll sit there and he'll take the time to listen to you, and I've seen him do this so many times because I've filmed him at so many different expos and meetups and stuff. He takes the time to speak to every single person who has something to say. Some people get very nervous when they meet him, or really anybody who's famous or whatever, who's well-known, exposed on social media. They'll be like, hey, my name's Josh, I love you so much, can we take a picture? And you wanna, or CT or whoever wants to like continue the conversation, but it's just not possible because it's not an open-ended conversation. It's very fast, like, hey, I'm this guy, can we take a picture? And you're like, yeah, you can take a picture, and then they run away before you're able to have any conversation. CT is the kind of guy who wants to have a conversation with everybody, and he will. The only reasons he ever like has to leave an expo or something is because the I-Satori guys will be like, hey man, you gotta go, you're gonna miss your flight, otherwise CT would literally stay there and talk to every single person until the convention people kicked him out. He is very easy to talk to. When I have an idea, I'll be like, hey CT, so this is what I was thinking, man. So I love the idea of having you be the castaway, like talking about castaway stuff. Could you also explain what this workout is? Or maybe we can talk about an older story of yours that you have about this or that. And he'll sit there and he'll listen to me and talk back and forth and be like, yeah, oh, okay, I like that. Yeah. How about we come in, we'll roll the gates up from the inside. We'll all be standing there, and like the gates will fly up over our faces, and we'll walk out towards the camera. So we'll like sit there and collaborate for about 20 or 30 minutes before a project, before we actually start shooting, and get some ideas back and forth. Or I'll mic them up or whatever it is. It's just very convenient. It's very easy to work with him. And he's got a massive amount of respect for me. He texts me now, which is really cool. Me and him text while I'm editing. And like, for example, in the last project I just did yesterday with him and Michael Hearn, he was like, hey man, I really like this song. Here's the beat link. I would like you to incorporate it if you can. It's the only rap song I really enjoy. It was like P. Diddy something. So I was like, yeah, man, of course. See what I'm saying? Like, it's really cool when the people that you shoot for, of course, it's a business relationship, but it's also a friendly relationship. It's also something that you're doing because you enjoy it and you have a mutual respect for each other. Like, I want to see CT do really well. I want to see CT continue to get lots of views and exposure, and I want to see him put up good videos on his channel. So when I do a project for him, it's not just about, oh, they're going to pay me this much per video, I should make the video, let's go. It's like, all right, man, this one is with Michael Hearn, so this one's a little bit more important for him. He's not going to work out with Michael Hearn again, so I got to make this one a good one for him. Or CT will say, hey, man, I really want this one to be, the one that gets over 250. We got to make this good. I got to make the soundtrack good. And I'll be like, okay, CT, because I like them. I'll be like, I really want to do that too. And I'll spend hours and hours and hours looking for music. I think that's it. I think that covers it. There's so many ideas and things I want to talk through, and I think a podcast is a fantastic way to do it. I think it's a really open-ended conversation that I'm able to, go down and kind of like give you guys an insight on really anything. So this one, I really wanted to talk to you guys about how I got involved in starting with cinematography, and then also how my cinematic journey has brought me to where I am now in my career, which is shooting mainly with CT as my man for cinematography. I really don't have enough time to pursue other projects. Like, I'll have people hit me up. They'll be like, hey man, can I fly you out here and do this fitness video for me? Or can we do a music video or something? But I honestly just don't have time. I really just make the time to do CT videos and then do other things for my channel, progress this podcasting thing or the clothing company, handprint line, coaching, all sorts of different stuff. So I thought this would be interesting. So hopefully you enjoyed this. I think this is going to be on the main channel as well as the podcasting. It really isn't fully set up yet, but I'll keep you guys in the loop on the podcast. So they are going to be up on iTunes. I'm really excited about that. Also, if you guys are interested in supporting with Patreon is a service where essentially you can pledge 0 to infinite amount of dollars per month to send to me, which will essentially just help me cover the fees of putting in additional time for podcasting or buying the actual equipment, which was like $1,500, or giving me more time to write my rap album or whatever it is. There's a million different things. There's also a whole bunch of rewards that for if you donate and you donate a certain amount, each one has a different reward scheme. So you can get different things. Like, for example, you'll get every handprint sent to you that we ever print, things like that. But yeah, if you're willing to support, you should check that out. Other than that, though, I think that is it. A little bit of a rambler today, but I thought it would be an interesting topic. So hopefully you guys liked it. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys thought. And if you're not subscribed to the channel already, Team Beyond the Week. CT?
Lift heavy or die MIRIN, motherfucker. Team Beyond the Week. CT, lift heavy.